Hello friends and welcome back. Today I'm coming to you from our partially finished nursery for baby girl who's going to be here in January because I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite hacks for nurseries and kids rooms, and this is the perfect time for me to be sharing this video because I'm literally knee deep in finishing putting together this nursery as well as my son who is 2. We moved him out of this nursery and into his big boy toddler room, so we just totally redid that room as well. So it's the perfect time for me to share a bunch of these hacks with you as I get these rooms put together. I feel like prepping for a nursery the second time around has been a lot easier for me because I feel like I have a much better grasp on the things that I really need and what really matters and what's going to make my life easier in this room with a newborn. So I'm excited to share some of those with you and just give you a little peek at some of the tricks and organization that I am using in my 2 kids rooms. And saying 2 kids honestly is like, it's hard to believe. Okay, my first trick is something that I've shared with you guys in the past, but that is that I opt for using a dresser instead of buying a changing table, like something specifically just a changing table. And that's because kids outgrow the need for a changing table fairly quickly. And if you opt for using a dresser instead, then you can continue to use the dresser once they've outgrown the need for a changing table. But what you can see I did here is I just opted for a regular old dresser, and then you can buy just changing pads and you can place them right on the top of the dresser. You want to make sure that you affix them in some way. Most of them will come with some type of strap or like a way to affix them for safety. You don't want to just like leave it on there to like flop around. You want to make sure it's securely attached to the dresser. But now I've got essentially a changing table. I've got everything I need for a baby girl, but when she outgrows the need for a changing table, I can continue to use this dresser as her regular dresser like we do in my son's room, which I'll show you right now. Come on. Okay, here we are in my son's room, and as you can see behind me, we have his dresser, which used to be used as his changing table. I'll show you some clips here from his old nursery. And this has just worked so great as a transition piece because it was amazing as a changing table, and now that he doesn't need a changing table, we can use it as his dresser. And look at this, we even have a spot for it to hold my coffee. Isn't that convenient? But honestly, this was one of the best nursery choices that I made for my son, which is why I made it for my daughter's nursery as well, because it just became such a versatile piece. All right, and while we are on the topic of changing tables slash dressers, let's talk about using the drawers. So another reason I really like dressers over changing tables is because they have way more drawer and storage space. But one of my best tricks is if you were using a dresser for your kids' stuff, is you're gonna wanna put some baskets inside of drawers, because not only are kids' clothes really small, but all the little odds and ends that you need for kids stuff are really small as well. And if you try to just throw it into a big drawer, everything is going to become a jumbled mess. So definitely opt for some type of basket or some type of drawer organizers. Another reason that I love baskets for clothing storage is because with kids' clothes, I'm not always like perfectly folding my kids' clothes. I'm just like, it's not happening. If I have the time, I do like to roll my kids' clothes. I find that this is the most effective way to store them if I'm going to do like any type of folding, because I can roll them and then at a really quick glance, I literally can see all of the clothes at once. But even if I don't have time for that, I like having the basket option, because this way I literally can be putting away clean clothes and I can at least get pajamas where pajamas go and pants where pants go and sort of organize that way. All right guys, let's move down to the floor. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about rugs in kids' rooms. This rug right here is a rug that I actually bought from my son's nursery, and I loved it so much that I actually pretty much designed this entire nursery for baby girl around this rug, and it is a Ruggable rug. In case you don't know, Ruggable rugs are machine washable rugs. Yes, that means they literally can go into your washing machine to get clean, which has saved me multiple times in motherhood, like the time that my son got sick and literally puked all over this entire rug. And so in my opinion, they are the best rugs to have in kids' rooms. Another tip on the topic of kids' clothes is that our kids grow out of clothes really fast, especially in that first 2 years. So I highly suggest you create some type of system for weeding through those clothes on the regular. If you watched my video about my minimal closet, I will link that video down below. It's all about how I keep my own personal closet sort of minimal. I talk about how I like to keep 80 to 90% of my closet all just be clothes that I can like literally wear right now. When I open my own closet, I don't want to be bogged down by like things that are out of season, things that don't fit. And that same rule applies to my kids' clothes. I don't want to be opening a drawer to get my son dressed and there's clothes that are too small for him, clothes that are too big, clothes that like are summer clothes and it's winter clothes. So there's two things that I suggest that sort of will help with this process. And the first one is to keep some type of storage bin, whether it's just like an open storage bin or a like plastic storage bin that you would keep in a basement or an attic, somewhere in your kid's room. Because that way when you are putting away clothes or you're getting your kid dressed and you notice something your kid doesn't fit in anymore, it makes it really easy because it's right in your kid's room, and then that way when that bin is full of clothes, you can do whatever it is that you're doing with your kids' clothes, whether you're saving them for a future kid down the road or you're donating them. And then the second thing is obviously you probably will have some clothes for your kids that they don't fit into yet, especially in that baby phase. Probably haven't bought like only newborn stuff. Again, don't mix that in with the sizes that they're currently wearing. Keep that in a separate bin somewhere in the room or keep it in a separate drawer. Again, the last thing you want is at 3 a.m. to be like weeding through onesies trying to find one that fits. And I feel like that hack sort of brings me into my next hack, which is just like, honestly for me, it's a general hack for just keeping my house organized, but especially in kids' rooms. And that is that everything should have a place where it belongs. Kids have so much stuff, especially babies. There's so many different like products. You have diapers and wipes and creams and lotions. It's really easy for this stuff to become cluttered, to become a big mess. By having a designated spot for everything, it really, really helps keep mess to a minimum. It's going to make it so much easier for you to find what you need when you need it. And I even find that it helps to label. I'm never against the idea of over labeling. Sometimes I feel like it feels silly to label in our own house because we're like, this is our house and we know where stuff goes. The truth is, even if we organize the space, we can't always remember exactly where it was that we designated a spot for something, especially when we're in the thick of momming it and we're like changing a diaper and trying to like get out the door or whatever. Having labels just makes it super, super easy for everything to end up back where it goes. It's going to help you in your mind sort of decide where everything goes as well. So some of it is just the process of you identifying a spot for each place. All right, moving right along to another trick. I love to use walls in any way that I can for storage. So here in my son's room, I got these acrylic book shelves, and I love this because it's just a really great way to store his books. They're up and off the floor. He can easily see them and pick out the books that he wants. It's just using up some wall space. I don't have to take up the footprint of a bookshelf. And let me show you another really great way to store books over in the nursery. All right, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is actually window treatments, because this is something that pre-kids Callie literally never thought about. For my son's first nursery, I just bought some shades and I put them up and called them good. I could have never anticipated how much time and energy I would invest as a mother into finding the right window treatments for my son, because I quickly learned once I had a newborn that newborns sleep better when the room is darker. And when newborns sleep better, mom is happier. And it turns out I'm willing to invest a lot of time and energy into my happiness. And at the end of the day, this comes down to being able to essentially black out your room as much as possible. And I have tried a lot of different blackout shades and curtains and vinyls and clings. And so today I want to bestow that knowledge upon you and sort of share with you some of the tricks and things that I've learned. Because the truth is, you don't realize how much sunlight can get through windows and through shades and through curtains until you are trying to make a room very, very dark. Obviously, one of the first options is blackout shades. Here's an example of what I mean. We have these currently in my son's room. I opted for cordless, which, while we're on the topic, obviously cordless shades are best for kids' rooms because the hanging strings aren't generally safe for babies and toddlers. But this material is designed to block out light, which it does. However, no matter how you install these shades, because I have tried multiple ways, whether it's an inside mount or an outside mount, sunlight can still get through the cracks. And so while these blackout shades do block out sun from coming through them, light still comes through the cracks, and you actually don't end up with that dark of a room using just the blackout shades. And my original goal in this room was actually to do just these blackout shades, and then I had gotten these really cute curtains. Actually, they're right here, let me show you. I had gotten these very cute curtains which match the room really great. This like yellowy color matches the rug. It was a whole thing. And with those shades in this curtain, this room was still pretty darn bright at nap time, and I wasn't willing to give up wonderful naps that my son was having in his dark room. So The cute curtains had to go away, and we opted to go for the next product I'll show you, which is some blackout curtains. Now again, it's very important that you're getting blackout curtains. You'll know because they're gonna come with a liner on the inside to black out the light. Anyways, at the end of the day, blackout curtains are gonna do about the same thing that blackout shades are going to do. They're gonna block light from coming through it, but light is still going to be able to sneak in around the edges, again making them only sort of partially effective. Now I do find when it comes to choosing between blackout shades and blackout curtains tend to be a better option only because you can pin the curtain to the wall, blocking out more light. Now my son is 2, and technically he can nap just fine in a room that's not totally dark, but I do find in general that he naps better when the room is darker. And so personally, as a mom, I'm willing to invest the time and like the changes in my room to make it dark enough for him so that he'll take a good nap. So I want to actually share a little trick with you that I've actually invented in my son's room to help make the blackout curtains even more effective. So I actually ended up buying a couple little magnet strips and using hot glue to adhere them to the edges of the curtain and the sides of my windowsill. This helps the curtain lay nice and flat to the window, preventing that extra sunlight from trickling in along the edges. And like I said, I know that this is very extra, but I personally find that a much darker room means much better sleep for my kids. All right guys, that does it. That is some of my best just like hacks and tips and just like secrets and things I've learned along the way when it comes to kids' rooms and nurseries as far as keeping them organized and making them a little more effective. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it helped you out, maybe with some of your kid room planning as well. And if you're interested in seeing full room reveals of both the nursery and my son's toddler room, then I will put links in the description box down below. Also make sure to follow along on Instagram. I share a lot more just like mom hacks, and obviously when baby girl arrives, I will be announcing there. But as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you all in my next video.